Live from Las Vegas. It looks like we're in New York, but we're not. We're in Las Vegas, Nevada. Still here, a day after the Bernie Sanders romping the Democratic Party. Ha 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 ha! Woo! What a victory! Bernie Sanders slaughtering the competition live from Nevada. What a day, what a day. I told you, man. You following this channel, you know the real deal. I told you the polls were fake. Bernie Sanders was the lead. He is now the presumptive nominee for the Democratic Party. Presumptive nominee. And to confirm, there it is. Front page of the Las Vegas local paper, Sanders takes Nevada. Ah, I love it. Say hello to your your president and your first lady. There she is. I love you, Bernie. I love you, Bernie. I love you, Jane. Jane, you're going to make a great first president. I love you, Bernie. I love you, Bernie. Oh, shit, they're going to win, man. They're going to win. So Donald Trump's on the news today. Did I say Bernie Sanders, presumptive nominee now? We have to talk about it. It's funny because it ain't over, but the kitchen sink is coming. So Trump didn't waste any time. Trump said, actually very complimentary, but again, with Trump, it's strategy, right? Trump says in a tweet, looks like crazy Bernie is doing well in the great state of Nevada. Starts out calling him crazy Bernie, a little backstab. It's a pat on the back with a backstab. It's a reach around. Looks like crazy Bernie is doing well in the great state of Nevada. Biden and the rest look weak, and no way Mini Mike can restart his campaign after the worst debate performance in the history of presidential debates. Congratulations, Bernie. Don't let them take it away from you. Oh, man. Man, he's throwing us a bone. Trump is throwing us a bone, right? It's a little strategy, right? It's strategic. Right? Because he knows he's going to face off against Bernie Sanders. Ah, shit is crazy. So just for the facts, the stats. Nevada, this is a new game today. We wake up in a new America with Bernie Sanders, who's been running his campaign for arguably, since 2015, is now the presumptive nominee of the Democratic Party. The results are staggering. With 50% of the vote in, as of this morning, it was called with less than 5% of the vote in because it was such a landslide. As you saw, if you watch my videos, you saw that I was in a caucus location, and I showed you that Bernie Sanders was killing it. Absolutely killing it. Right? By bigger margins than he actually won in the overall vote. And the overall vote, as of now, with 50% of the vote in, Sanders 46.6% and Biden 19.2%. Buttigieg 15.4%. Those are unbelievable. Bernie Sanders won by 27 points. So he's exceeding. Maybe there was no cheating here. Maybe they just let it ride, Maybe they didn't pay off the right people in Vegas and we got a fair election. So the next thing we're going to look for is, look, Bernie won Iowa. Right? He won New Hampshire. He won Iowa by 6,000 votes. He won New Hampshire, right? Arguably by, 10 points if they cheated him, right? The machine, right? He won Nevada by 27 points. Right? So, where do we go from here? The next stop is the alleged black wall. Biden's black wall. You can't get past the blacks. I'm Joe Biden. I was Obama's vice president. I got the blacks in my pocket. Well, it doesn't seem to be so. It does not seem to be so at all. In fact, Biden is slightly leading, according to some polls, in the black vote over Bernie Sanders. Slightly. Not a lot. Right? But Joe Biden has no support with young people. None. Right? So it's almost a grand slam. Sanders wins South Carolina. Nowhere in history can you put your finger on where a candidate wins Iowa, New Hampshire, South Carolina, and Nevada. Right? Going into Super Tuesday, he's the favorite in California. There's nowhere in history you could point to where that person with that kind of performance doesn't get the nomination. And I know all about it. I know the numbers better than most, that they will try to, if he doesn't get the majority of the vote, if he only gets a plurality of the vote, if he only gets 49.999% of the vote, he didn't win. He didn't win, so the superdelegates kick in, I know, but the Democrats would be very, very foolish to do that. So, but they're not done, right? Because power doesn't just step away. Right? Power fights. It fights to the bitter end. So what we're looking for, just for factual stuff, South Carolina is next, and the debate will be Tuesday. Today's Sunday. Monday, Tuesday, we have another debate with Bernie Sanders taking the stage as the front runner. And the election will be next Saturday. And 3 days later, Super Tuesday. Right? Who would have believed it, right? I know, Trump people, look, I told you, I believe, I didn't tell you, but I believe that Bernie Sanders has a bigger umbrella. And I think he's going to, when push comes to shove, the moderate Democrats will fall in line. But I think that a mass amount of independents come off the sidelines, and a lot of people that are openly Trump supporters will realize that he's a phony, that he hasn't improved no economy. He gave you some crumbs in a tax return. Big deal. Hey, you got a couple $100 extra this year. Whoop-de-fucking-do. While the billionaire class keeps going up and up. The point is, Bernie Sanders' message is wildly popular, as seen in the elections. Right? Universal single-payer health care. Get money out of politics. Right? The oligarchy's shitting in their pants right now. Right? CNN, if you look at CNN last night, they didn't even broadcast. They stopped broadcasting because they had been running this fake Russia story for 2 days straight, nonstop. Bernie Sanders, the Russians are helping Bernie. The Russians are helping Trump. That's what they were running the whole time. And it couldn't stop them. People were just like, fuck you, that's fake news. So strategy number one, paint Bernie Sanders as a Russian asset. Failure. Ain't gonna work. Bernie Sanders, he took his honeymoon in Moscow. False. Bernie Sanders did not have his honeymoon in Moscow. Bernie Sanders went to Moscow in the 80s or 70s. You saw the video. Him, sitting around drinking vodka with the Russians, naked, with no shirt on. He went there as the mayor from Burlington, Vermont, in an exchange thing. So that's a bullshit story too. Is Bernie Sanders a Russian asset? Ridiculous. So, and for all those who believed, right? Now there's two grades of Bernie Sanders supporters. There's the H.A. Goodmans in the world who turned their back on Bernie. Oh, H.A., you're hating yourself right now. I know. You're stuck with Trump. You got to keep going with it, though. Right? You got to. You invested yourself in Donald Trump and every lie that he encompasses. And Bernie Sanders is going to rock his clock. Is going to trounce him in the general election. Bernie Sanders, 70% approval rating. The most popular politician in America. Do I sound like I'm do I sound like I am Am I politicking? No, I don't think so. I think that if Sanders becomes the president, we have a chance in this country to address the most important issue of our time. It's not climate change. It's grotesque income and wealth inequality in a rigged political and financial system. To address that, hold corporations, not the billionaires so much, but the corporations, hold them to the tax bracket. Hold them to their tax rate of 34%. And if they don't pay, lock them up. If you do that one thing, that's, $2-3 trillion a year that hits the market. That goes into regular people's pockets. And then you have universal single-payer health care. Then you could have free college tuition at city and state universities. Right? You can have all those things. I'm tempted to go inside that casino and see what's in there. That's the Excalibur. But I'm just kind of loving my they knew I was coming here, so just hanging out by the New York, kind of missing home. So 10 days away from the Super Tuesday, Bernie Sanders could wrap this up in 10 days. Bernie Sanders could be so far out ahead that nobody can compete anymore except Mike Bloomberg, and he's a shit sandwich. We know he's going to fail. He's a failure. He can't debate. He tried to buy his way in. He was part of the Stop Bernie movement. Ain't working. It didn't work. Didn't work out for Mike Bloomberg. So the kitchen sink strategy. What are they going to do for Bernie? What are they going to do to Bernie Sanders? How are they going to stop this guy? How are they going to stop him? Hi. How are they going to stop him? I thought these guys were trying to stop me. Tourists. Italian tourists with the red shoes on. What are you, the Pope? So anyway, it's a good day to be a Bernie Sanders supporter, right? Oh yeah, so there's those two types of Bernie Sanders people. I didn't finish the statement. There's two types of Bernie Sanders people. There's the tried and true, the people who believed and continue to believe, who are still holding on, right? That said, this guy should be the president for all the right reasons. Won the day, right? And the people who turned their back on him and said, he's a sellout. He bowed a knee to Hillary Clinton. He has 3 homes. He's a communist. He's a socialist. He's not for you. He folded like a cheap suit. Every bit of those strategies turns out to be a failed. Those are failed predictions. Those are failed assessments of what's actually happening. Right. Failed. Why? Because Sanders is still there fighting. He's still there fighting, winning, and you're crying about Hillary Clinton. Right? So if you want to talk about 4D chess, if that's even what it is, or is it just a simple message of be kind to one another? Don't tear people down. Don't insult people. Don't run a campaign on insults and negativity, but run a campaign on the premise of giving back to the American people. A message of let's stick with the policies that are going to benefit Americans, not the corporations. A simple message that brings politics back to the people and not the other way around. Not some kind of fictitious bullshit where politicians run everything and corporations run everything. Right? That's all we're talking about, really. So Marcus Conte reporting live here from Las Vegas, Nevada. I was going to do a live stream, but I didn't get 4 bars, so it's early in the morning here. I'm going to spend one more day. I think it's confirmed, though. I don't think any shenanigans are going to go on, right? You can't take a lead, a 29-point lead away from a guy at this point. So Bernie Sanders confirms. I saw a lot while I was here in Nevada. I saw the Bernie Bros, man. If there are Bernie Bros, I saw them. Right? They're dedicated. They're embedded. They're traveling from state to state to get their candidate elected. They believe. Show me people that are doing that, pulling like that for Trump. I mean, the Trump rally was interesting. It's not eye-opening to me because I've seen it before, but you feel safe. You feel patriotic at a Trump rally. You feel like these are my people. These are Americans, right? You feel that when you're at a Trump rally. It's a good feeling. It's something that Trump attracts. I don't know why. I don't understand it. But it's inescapable that Trump has penetrated, the heartland like nobody else. The problem is at the Trump rally, as you might have noticed, is that it's almost 99% white people, and we're in Nevada, where it's not 99% white people. There's a lot of blacks and a lot of Latinos, but that's all Trump draws, right? So, having said that, Bernie Sanders is going to romp in the Latino community. Bernie Sanders is going to romp in the black community, and in the white community, and in the Rust Belt. So, Bernie Sanders prediction. Bernie Sanders, presumptive nominee, goes on to get the nomination through a plurality of the vote and acclamation that all the other contestants give their support to Bernie Sanders. And he is the presumptive nominee. He goes on to win the blue states, California, up the West Coast, or Oregon, Washington State. He wins all of that. He wins the usual New York. He wins the whole, Northeast. And he flips Michigan and Wisconsin back blue, and that's it. That's point game. That's it. It's over. Bernie Sanders wins. Now, if he flips, he's ahead in Texas right now. If he flips Texas, if Bernie Sanders flips Texas blue, you've got such a lopsided win. It's unbelievable because he could win. He'll probably win if he does well in the Deep South and the blacks really take to him. He's going to win Virginia. He's going to win North Carolina. So, exciting times, man. What is the kitchen sink? Bernie Sanders should have Secret Service at this point because the oligarchs are pissed off. How are they going to stop him, man? How are they going to stop him? That's what they're doing right now. That's why CNN went off the air last night. Because they have nothing. They're not going to sit there and plug Bernie Sanders for 2 or 3 hours. They're just not going to do it. They don't have the material. They don't have the desire to promote it. Right? That's a tell right there. Now, Fox is loving it, but that's okay. Fox is stupid. That's a political misjudgment in my opinion. They think that they're going to win calling Bernie Sanders a socialist 25 times in a row. Oh, he's a socialist. He's a socialist. Oh, no, socialist. Socialists can't win in America. He wants to destroy our way of life. Ain't going to work. Ain't going to work because when Bernie Sanders is standing next to Trump explaining he wants to improve your life tenfold, and here's how we're going to do it. People are going to... that message is going to resonate. It's just going to resonate. It's going to ring. It's going to ring. So I'll kill it right here. I'll come back later when I can get a live connection, and we'll chat a little bit one more time. Maybe nothing really else to report here. Maybe I'll talk to some people about the victory. I know there was a big Bernie Sanders, not a big one, but a gathering, with the people in the know. I don't like that shit. It's too hippy dippy, man. It smells like clove and fucking hippies. Somebody needs a bath or some shit. So, Marcus Conte reporting live from Las Vegas, Nevada. Peace out.